Welcome to Corrective Consciousness, episode 218, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. I'm your host, vysethebold, sticking the landing, not stumbling.
You beat me
but
to it.
once.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say I'm Lotus Prince, and man, that was a flawless intro.
Feels good, man. Feels good. Yeah, flawless victory. But yeah, we are here again with another entry in our Castlevania reminiscence. No,
Yeah, we're gonna discuss Castlevania 64 again, just because I want to.
We're specifically talking about that game because it is named Castlevania, not actually Castlevania 64.
That's true. That's true.
But we are in the 7th episode of our retrospective. That's probably a better term. But yeah, this is a we previously went over Dawn of Sorrow,
DS.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite games in this series. It's a banger. It's seriously one of the best games. So definitely check that one out. It is fantastic. But do you know what the next game is, Lotus? In Castlevania?
I always forget
Castlevania
because
Chronology.
it's not like a DS title. I want to say...
it's not a DS title at all, in fact.
Oh, well, that makes it easier. What system?
PS2 and Xbox.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there were two. There's Lament of Innocence, and what's the other one?
Curse of Darkness.
Okay.
So this is the second 3D game after the PS2 one. So probably the fourth 3D game, I guess you would say.
Yeah, there's two 64 iterations.
Yeah, so this one is probably the best out of the four. Some people will argue with me and say that Lament of Innocence is halfway decent. I actually like this game the best out of them all.
Curse of Darkness?
Curse of Darkness, yeah. Curse of Darkness is actually a pretty interesting game. So it takes place... it takes place during 3 years after the events of Castlevania 3. So yeah, in the time of Trevor Belmont or Ralph Balmundo, if you will.
Ralph Belmondo.
But you actually take the role of a non-Belmont. Usually the non-Belmont games are the best, and for good reason. Well, if it's Metroidvania or action adventure style, the non-Belmont characters tend to be more fun because of what you can do with them. But this guy is what's called a demon forger or devil forger, I think is what he does. What is the story? His name is Hector, so obviously a Greek mythology reference, right? That's Hector's from
Hector
Greek
was
mythology.
the sort of rival to Achilles in the Battle of Troy. Hector was like the big super warrior of Troy. Correct.
So he's the one that that ends up riding around with Paris. Or who kills Paris? Is it Achilles that kills Paris?
No, nobody kills Paris. Paris is I think he's Hector's...
Paris kills Achilles, right?
Yeah, I want to say.
Okay.
I want to say Paris is Hector's younger brother. I could be wrong about this.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Paris, I believe, is the one who shot Achilles in the ankle with bow and arrow. But Hector was killed.
Gotcha. So Achilles ran around with him on a chariot, dragging him around. I think in front of everybody.
At least in the movie, I don't remember how it went. Because this is kind of bad. I'm well versed in the Odyssey because I taught it for 4 months, but I never actually read the Iliad. So my details of that one are
Lotus, I'm surprised.
Based on the
out
movie,
of order,
which is wildly different from the actual Greek myth.
Lotus, I'm very surprised. Out of order? Come on.
I know. But yeah, the movie takes a lot of liberties. So
gotcha.
Agamemnon being the villain who is killed. I think they killed him in the movie, and that's not at all what happened. Menelaus being a barbarian that Paris suddenly killed, like, with a cheap shot. No, he survived the war and actually married fucking Helen. So, like, there's a lot going on in that movie that took liberties.
Well, my favorite memory of Troy is back when it was, like, you know, starting to get really popular, like, some hype behind it in high school. Some girl was talking about going to see it, and I was just like, Brad Pitt dies.
Yeah, it's like, how could you spoil that for me, you jerk? Like...
I was like, this story is literally 4,000 years old. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I get for being a jerk.
It's like spoiling Romeo and Juliet, where the opening of the play tells you what happens.
Two star-crossed lovers. It tells you that it's a tragedy at the very beginning. Yeah,
and not only that, but like. This didn't age well, so this isn't really fair to use. But when the play first came out, it was based off of an already famous poem. So even people back in the 1500s knew what happened before they started watching the play.
Yeah, no, it was an old story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's supposed to happen in this Castlevania game is Hector is formerly one of Dracula's, like, henchmen, and what he ends up doing is he gets disgusted with Dracula. I don't know what you thought you were doing with Dracula, but you know, here you go. And then what happens is Hector's fiance is burned at the stake. And his rival, and that was directed by his rival, Devil Forge Master Isaac. So you're going after Isaac in this game. So what was cool about this game is that you collect a bunch of different demons or devils, and they're kind of similar to the familiars that you would have in Symphony of the Night. That was something about Symphony of the Night that I didn't even mention. One of the coolest things about it is you basically have little pets in that game that level up with you.
What did you have? Like the imp, the fairy, like the little sword? Was there anything else?
Yeah, imp, fairy, a bat, and the most important one was the sword.
I love the imp, though. There's that one switch that you can't reach. I'll get it for you, master. Like, whatever he said. Yeah,
the fairy is really good with healing items, and she will also depetrify you, unpetrify you. But the bat is cool because when you turn into a bat, it gets, like, little hearts on it. It's really funny. But probably the best thing is the sword, which actually turns into a sword once it levels up enough.
Slice!
Yeah, and it's one of the best swords in the game, too. So, but anyway, so you get these little demons in Curse of Darkness, and you level them up, and they have different paths so that they can go, and they have different abilities and stuff. And this had a much better environments than Lament of Innocence. I like it a lot better. You heard me talk about Lament of Innocence before. Probably one of the worst things about that game is that every single room looks exactly the fucking same. So this game was a kind of a fresh breath of fresh air. It is not the best action-adventure game ever made or anything like that.
I heard both of those games were okay.
But I like this one better. I like leveling up the demons. And it had a cool setting. It has great music, as with almost every Castlevania game. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, that series is pretty well known for just...
Even really its worst games have good music.
Yeah, Castlevania 64's music, it's different, but it's like aesthetically appropriate. It's kind of like Doom 64. That soundtrack isn't even close to the other Doom games, but it's fitting for the environment.
Yeah, and this game was also notable for having an original Xbox version, whereas Lament of Innocence was only on PS2. So it was pretty cool to see. Konami had only a few games on the Xbox, on the original Xbox, including the upgraded version of Silent Hill 2 at the time. But
yeah, like the PC version, except the PC version was kind of a jank port. So Xbox or like PS2 Greatest Hits is where it's at.
Yeah. There's a good version of Silent Hill 4 that they came up with as well on the original Xbox, but still, it was cool to see it on there because the OG Xbox didn't get a whole lot of love from Japanese companies. So this was a good one. I enjoy this one more. So if you're going to seek out any of the 3D ones, this definitely should be on your list. Moving on from that, we have Portrait of Ruin, which is the second DS game. This is the sequel to Castlevania Bloodlines. It's a direct sequel to Castlevania Bloodlines. You play as John Morris's son, Jonathan Morris, and his companion, Charlotte. So what's really neat about this game is that you have two characters that you control. Kind of like a Nana and Popo kind of situation, from Smash Brothers. You control them both at once, and you can switch who's dominant at any given time. And so Jonathan is the whip user, obviously, but Charlotte is a magic user, similar to Sypha was in Castlevania 3. And the switching mechanic is so much fun. It's a great way for this game to go, and it also takes the motif of Bloodlines. So if you remember right, Bloodlines was a cool game because it kind of had a world globe-trotting feel to it, where Portrait of Ruin has a similar feel to it, because when you go into Castlevania, it is populated by haunted paintings in this game, and the paintings all have their own worlds that you go into, and they're all themed around different parts of the world.
Like take you to Womp's Fortress?
No, but it's something similar stuff. You go to.
If I don't hear then I don't care.
There's an ancient Egypt one. There's a forest one. There's even one that's like a carnival theme, or like a creepy.
Oh, that's bizarre
theme.
For Castlevania.
Yeah, and this game also has an inverted type castle as well.
Sure.
So this is one of the best games in the series. It's really, really good. And it also has some of the best music of all of the later games. And that's amongst, as we've been saying, like already good music in almost every game. So this has contributions from like a ton of previous composers in the series. And also, Yuzo Koshiro makes some.
Oh, this is the one where he does that?
Yeah, he has some notable contributions. So, this is one of the best games in the series. This is definitely one to seek out. In fact, all the DS games are fan-freaking-tastic. This was once again a Metroidvania style one. So you can. There's also alternate modes in this one. The alternate modes are always a lot of fun. So this is Sisters mode, where you can control Loretta and Stella Lacard. Oh, I forgot the Lacard sisters are in this. So Eric, the alternate character in Bloodlines, the guy with the staff, his daughters are in this, and they have like a prologue mode. There's a Richter mode. I forgot all about that. You can control Richter and Maria from Dracula X, which is really, really cool. And there's an old axe armor mode. Oh man, that returns. There was an axe armor mode in Symphony of the Night, and a boss rush mode. So like all kinds of really fun stuff. There was also cooperative multiplayer via Nintendo Wi-Fi. Of course, that's dead in the water, but I think you can do local, so that's cool. So you could still do it if you want with somebody in the same room. So yeah, this was an awesome game. I really, really love this one. This is a lot of people's like Castlevania fans like favorite of this style. Then moving on from that, the next game to be released is actually the PSP remake of Rondo of Blood. So this was a great a great compilation. Really, it wasn't even just a remake of Dracula X. It's called Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles. So what they did was they remade Dracula X, the PC Engine game, which the US never got until the Virtual Console, and they also finished a basically unfinished level that was in the game. They fleshed it out a lot more, and they also made this game where you can find all kinds of collectibles and stuff, and you can also unlock the original PC Engine version of Dracula X on there, and you could also unlock Symphony of the Night. So this was a huge value. Yeah, it has basically 3 separate games, because the remake of Dracula X is basically a whole nother game. It's laid out almost completely differently. There's so much other stuff to do in it because there's so many collectibles. Some people didn't like, kind of the way it looks, because it's like a 2.5D remake, so it kind of has that PS1 almost kind of look to it. So low poly kind of look. But I loved it. I thought it was great. And playing Symphony of the Night on the go, I don't think there is any other way to play Symphony of the Night on the go still. There isn't, because it's not on the Switch. So this is still a great deal, and I think you can get it for your Vita if you have a Vita. So I'm actually really happy with this release. It was really good, and it has hours of content, just tens of hours of content. And you know what the next one after that was, Lotus?
Have we made it to the Wii yet?
We have not.
Okay, because that game itself is...
Oh, well, we're getting there. We're getting there.
All right, so we're on the DS. We're on the PS2.
No.
PS2, I think, is done, right?
No more PS2 games. No more Xbox games.
And no more DS either?
No, there's one more DS game, but we're not there yet.
Oh, wow. In that case, I'm at a loss.
You are forgetting Castlevania Order of Shadows for Java flip phones, my friend.
Oh, I don't think... I thought you were going to say Order of Ecclesia, but yeah, I don't think I've ever even heard of this one.
It's not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a flip phone game. I mean, you're lucky if you find anything that's halfway playable. Stick to your Doom RPG and Doom RPG 2, folks, for Java games that are good. It does have its own Belmont, though, but it's not worth your time, really. Don't even try to track it down or whatever, because it's not worth your time. The next one is Order of Ecclesia, which is the last DS game. This one kind of takes some notes from Castlevania 2, in that it kind of has a town-to-town kind of thing, and you build up your town as you go along and rescue villagers. This was later used in Bloodstained as well. Bloodstained
and that's something
has this kind of thing
in games, whole. I mean, I know I come back to this as often as I can, but the Souls games where you save somebody from a cell and now they're in your hub and you slowly build a bigger community. But
I love that.
With a town where you now I have an armor shop guy. Like Suikoden's been really good at that. I've been playing the Suikoden games when you finally get your own castle. Oh, I found someone who could sell me items. I found someone who could sell me armor. I found someone who will be a free in. It's yes, this is great. So
I love this game. It's one of my favorites in the entire series. I like it even more than Portrait of Ruin. And Portrait of Ruin is a fantastic freaking game. But this, to me, the DS games just got better over time. And the Order of Ecclesia is really top-notch stuff, because what you do is you rescue the villagers, and then the villagers unlock side quests, and also features and things like that, and shops. So I love that kind of thing, and there are multiple locations that you can visit in the game rather than just the one contiguous map. And you play as a completely different character in this game named Shanoa, who has like these cursed like tattoos that
nice.
you attack with.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, they're really. This one's a really fun game. I really like this one. Yeah, they're glyph symbols is what they're called. Yeah, it's a glyph system, and there's over 100 different glyphs. This was
how are
fun
they cursed,
game.
Or is the fact that they have powers? Does that?
Yeah, that's it. It's more like she's shunned by like the rest of the world for having them. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, so it's like the PS2 classic Evergrace, where you have the crest, and everyone's like, "Oh no, get away from me, you freak!"
They've always kind of hinted at, you know, the Belmonts, while heroic, have always kind of been on the outskirts of society because they carry the association with them.
Well, it's like Gus, right? He's got the brand,
sure.
Except people are actually justified to stay away from him because the brand is designed to attract demons to attack him, but at the same time, he's the guy who fights demons, so you want him to solve your problem and then probably leave before he provides more problems.
It's kind of like The Witcher, you know, like they're creepy people that do save you, but you don't want the creepy people around, you know, that kind of thing. But
that is true, but that's more like unreasonable mistrust.
And that's the same thing with the Belmonts.
It's like not trusting witches. It's like, oh, I don't know about this person with magical powers, whereas she's just a normal person who can also cast spells and you can't. You know, it's like the Witchers had some like weird like experimental thing performed on them, so they're kind of like not 100% human anymore. So that's a little bit more of a reason to be weirded out. But otherwise, whatever. I can kill monsters, you can't. Like, pay me.
But this was a fantastic game. There is some criticism leveled at this game for being difficult. I love that about it. I think that it is a difficult but fun game. There are some people that can't get past the first boss, which I never understood because I always just murder that thing. But I think it comes down to gameplay style. In this game, I use a lot of axes, and axes are really good at penetration, and they probably a lot of the people are using swords, which are fan favorite.
I was going to say, you know, that comment before you explained it, you know, that reminded me of this really funny meme post from like I think 4chan years ago, where somebody had posted about like how they had the PC version of Dark Souls 1.
Oh wow!
And they were like, there's this one sound file that like I can read the name of. Here's the name of the sound file post, but I don't know what sound it makes because like I wasn't able to find it in the game. And somebody was like, "Oh, that's the you died sound." I'm like, "Oh, that would explain it then." It's like, "Oh, come on."
That's amazing. Ooh, that was good. That was a good setup. But
no wonder I've never been able to hear it.
This is also notable for being the last single-player Metroidvania game that the Castlevania title that Igarashi would work on. So, you know, your Igavanias are basically stopping here, at least the official ones.
See you in 2019 for Bloodstained.
Well, he does work on a couple more titles, which we will go over, but they are not in the same vein as this. It's a great send off because it's a great game. It's also the last Castlevania game of its type. This is the last single player 2D Metroidvania game made in Japan. Let's just put it that way. And this is a great send off to the series, but it stinks. I mean, the last game that was made that was, you know, using that formula and everything was 2008, so 12 years ago. In a once great series, it feels bad, man. This is a really awesome title. I absolutely recommend it. It has a lot of replay to it as well. And do yourself a favor, if you're going to play these games, don't play them all in a row because you'll get burnt out and you won't appreciate them.
Yeah, there are some things, like there is too much of a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, don't play them all in a row. Take a break in between each one so you can savor, you know, the tweaks because essentially they are similar games to each other. All of these, Metroidvanias.
And it's also like what I endlessly to beat a dead horse some more. Like again, various FromSoft titles. It's like similar ideas, but with a little bit of like the Souls games. Demon Souls, you cannot fast climb. Dark Souls, you can fast climb down. Dark Souls 2, you can fast climb up, but it costs stamina. Bloodborne, you can do that, but it does not cost stamina. It's like little things, like step by step.
So that brings us to our next title. Do you know what the next one is? You've touched on this.
Obviously, it's the Wii game.
Yes.
Oh, it actually is.
So
it's Castlevania Death Note edition.
Yes, it is Castlevania Judgment. Koji Igarashi did work on this title. He was the producer, unfortunately. And the art was done by Takeshi Obata, who is the mangaka for Death Note.
Yeah, if characters look like they could have been in the Death Note manga, like that's why.
Yeah, they all look like the Death Gods.
They're very animaized versions of characters you know.
Yeah.
Like, I guess technically that is Simon, yeah, I suppose.
So, first of all, it's for a system that nobody wants a fighting game for. So it's already
a fighting game.
Second of all, it's a fighting game.
It's a 3D fighting game.
A 3D fighting game a la, like almost like Virtual On or something like that.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah. With motion controls, which nobody wants.
Like everything about this game is like telling you not to play it. I mean, the concept of a fighting game with Castlevania characters is actually kind of brilliant. It's like, oh, I wonder what that would be like. But man, this is not the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing it does do is that there are it brings all kinds of characters from the past, and also like some kind of some obscure ones. So that's kind of cool, and allows you to control certain characters in a 3D way that and that haven't had much depth applied to them before.
There is a reason to look into this, just for like weird little
curiosity.
Like, did you know you could do this? Like little quirks like that.
Yeah, so there's an original character named Aeon. There's Alucard is in the game.
Simon's in the game.
Yeah, Simon is on the front cover.
I think Maria's playable as like the little kid Symphony of the Night version.
Yeah, and she's easily the most embarrassing character in the entire game.
Oh yeah, no, we went to a MagFest one year where the whole panel was just like embarrassing cutscenes in video games, and yeah, Maria's entire I don't know about her ultimate story, but like anytime, like this is one of those games where you have like a line before you fight another character, at least in the story, and all of Maria's are like, if she ever goes against a woman, she's like jealous of their bust size because she's just a kid, and it's like, that's fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah, no, it's very uncomfortable. In fact,
yeah, it's don't put thoughts into the player's head about like how the fuck old is she? Like
she's supposed to be she's supposed to be like 11 or something. Yeah,
like she's a kid.
Yeah.
Like, worry about your bust size when you're, like, have the opportunity to have a bust. Get the hell out of here.
No, it's just fucked up. So, Carmilla, who's a character in Castlevania 2 and Dracula X, yeah.
she's
just a face. A face, yeah.
It's too bad, because Carmilla is, like, a cool character, but she's just it reminds me of that Japanese... Yeah, the Japanese Transformers NES game, or I guess Famicom game.
Where you just fight the Autobots logo.
Yeah, the final boss is like the Decepticon logo or something.
Decepticon logo.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Cornell from Castlevania Legacy of Darkness is in this. That's pretty cool.
That's a deep cut, yeah.
Death has a really cool design in this one.
Very nice.
Dracula, of course. Eric Lacard from Bloodlines. This one is a deep cut. The Golem boss from Haunted Castle.
But why though? Like the Yellow Devil boss?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes.
I didn't even know about this.
Yes.
That's insane.
Grant Dynasty, the pirate from Castlevania 3. Maria, as we said. Ceilings. Yeah. Sypha from Castlevania 3.
Of course.
Shinoa from Order of Ecclesia, that's cool. and Simon and Trevor Belmont.
Yeah, that's actually a very good list of characters.
Yeah, it's too bad that the game itself is embarrassing. It's very anime and tropey.
Like, to see where the story goes, but like whatever.
It's very anime and tropey, and
yes,
the Castlevania anime does it way better. Moving on from that, I think this is going to be our last one for tonight. The last one, the last one that I want to cover tonight is Castlevania the Arcade. So
the only other Castlevania game I have played and beaten, 64 and arcade. Go figure.
So you can find this at American Round 1 locations. It was never officially released in North America, but Round 1s have this as a curiosity to attract nerds like us.
And it is a curiosity because it's a light gun shooter, except you don't use guns because it's Castlevania. You have basically a move controller for your light gun, which sounds like, okay, it's a light gun, but you whip. So you're supposed to actually do the whip motion with your hand. So by the time you get to the final boss, you might be tired because you're not used to making such exaggerated motions like that often.
Yeah,
it's a shooter game where you're not shooting, you're swinging. So like if you're the kind of person who like plays like Skyward Sword for hours, and after a while you're like, oh man, I'm starting to feel it. Like yeah, this game's kind of like that.
Yeah, this game has a really nice art design though. I like the presentation of it, and I like the music.
The first boss has a rendition of Vampire Killer, which is very cool. The first boss is Death, in fact, which kind of bothered me because on one hand, it's the arcade experience.
He's usually the penultimate boss, though.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like, it's the arcade. We're gonna hit you with an iconic character right off the bat. Bam! In fact, you're like, oh, but he's not the second to last boss.
In fact, he's usually the hardest boss in any given game because
except for Castlevania 2.
Yeah, well,
that's not supposed to happen. He actually should be an extremely hard boss in that game.
Yeah, but I like this game for what it is. It's a shame it never got. It's a shame it never got a port because it could work with a PlayStation Move controller.
This could easily be transferred over. Yeah, it goes with. I mean, now that I think about it, really any light gun shooter, if you just have the Move compatible, bring them all over. Bring the Silent Hill arcade game. Bring
I was going to mention that
number of time. Like bring over Time Crisis 5. Why not?
So round one
pedals. I don't know.
Round 1 locations also tend to have the Silent Hill arcade game, which came out around the same time as well, and is also made by
that we
Konami.
were able to play that game for real because I for when I let's play
that's a fun game.
I had to emulate it because like what do you want? But we're actually able to play it for real.
That's a pretty fun game. I actually like that game.
And you got the good ending.
Yeah. So that was a fun time, but the weird thing about this game, the Castlevania one, is that they don't name the characters. They just give you a generic vampire hunter when he's obviously a Belmont.
That's a little weird. Yeah.
I think he's very obviously like he looks like Simon's. A lot of different versions of Simon look, so he looks like Simon. Lady Gunner and Little Witch, which obviously is a Sypha
so weirdly generic
kind of
for a Castlevania title. Like, you came up with a unique character for the fucking flip phone game. You can't do it for the arcade game.
I don't get it.
The Silent Hill arcade game has like characters with names.
They did release the soundtrack on CD though in Japan, so that's pretty cool.
It's a good soundtrack.
Yeah,
it is.
No, that's a decent game if you want to go through the trouble of trying to track down a copy of it.
And speaking of which, by the way, going back to Silent Hill again, but have you heard of the Silent Hill Sounds box?
No.
It's a collection of various Silent Hill soundtracks on CD, but it includes the arcade game. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's awesome. But yeah, we'll wrap things up because we're getting a little long in the tooth, and I want to. There are a few spin-offs and curiosities that we still have to go over before we get into the Lords of Shadow realm. So let's go into fan stuff here, Lotus.
Why, sure. So first of all, for comments, Wesley Machado says, please talk about the Shenmue anime. Because I don't know if we covered that last time, we ran out of time or what, but we might have mentioned it briefly, but yeah,
we talked about it.
But yeah, so yeah, they're gonna make one, but that's kind of all we got.
Yeah, and you know what? give that budget to Venture Brothers. I don't know why.
I know. I mean, I think we talked about this already.
I am huge Sega fan, especially Sega of that era, and I don't even want this, really.
Yeah, the Shenmue video games are just, stalling for time, even though they came out. What would I think we mentioned this already, but what would the anime be? Because the whole draw of Shenmue, as captivating as its story is the life experience. If you want to just go through the beats, then the game would only be a couple of hours long.
Maybe they want to finish up the story finally. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, maybe it's just a retelling and therefore even more disappointing than I think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe Deep Silver will take over the funding for the anime.
Maybe it's
allowed on the Epic Store.
Maybe it's an entire show about asking where sailors are.
Maybe it's an entire show about trying to complete your gacha collection. Oh, this is cool. Maybe just one more. Oh, I got Dural and I got the Virtua Fighter Kids version of Dural.
Kage's mom. Oh.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was weird.
Yep.
Which makes no fucking whatever.
Nope. You see how this textureless blocky person is somehow this ninja's mom?
Don't worry, it's fine. And Living Corpse has a few comments. One of them says, "Now imagine if a Fatal Frame game was made with ray tracing in mind. Could really make the ghosts seem ethereal and otherworldly."
That would be so cool.
Yeah, look, if Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Fighters can use ray tracing, then a slow-moving ghost game should be no problem. And then he also says, about the Ion Fury thing, that's what sucks about teams or companies, is the more people there are, the more the odds increase that one or more members is an asshole. It's possible that some of the people working on the project didn't even know someone put that joke in there.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt, it says Mike 12, aka H Doom guy. I don't know what that means, but I doubt this important person knew or would have approved when he was hired to work on the game, because he calls out people in the bullshit and they post bigotry on his Twitter. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying, kind of backpedaling on what I was saying, last recon or 2 recons ago, I guess at this point. But Ion Fury has an unfortunate, didn't read the room kind of thing about it, but the other game I can't get behind at all.
The game made by the Brutal Doom guy?
That's
Brutal Unashamed.
Fury, I think is what it's called. I don't want anything to do with that game. At least with Ion Fury,
Yeah, that might have just been a fuck up versus everybody sucks.
I may eventually end up playing that game, but I think the brutal guy
I'd rather
is
fund somebody who's not
fuck
garbage.
That guy. Yeah.
And then one more comment from Living Corpse. Sonia Belmont was also going to be in a Dreamcast game called Castlevania Resurrection.
I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Hopefully they can make her canon one day. You could just remove the whole being Alucard's lover stuff. Broly's been made canon for Dragon Ball, and they removed the stuff that just didn't work. Then again, this is Konami, who just chooses to let their franchises rot. Yeah, even though Konami's been pumping out a bunch of good games lately, they're all 20 years old. Remember back when we made games that we had passion for?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most recent game was Skeletak, and it was pretty decent, but...
Oh, that's true. That's a new thing. I'd forgotten about that. I was actually going to mention Contra Rocore, which nobody but you liked.
I'm the only person who gave it a chance. That was the problem with it. It's not what people wanted, and then that was a problem. But, taking on its own merit, it's not a bad game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple more comments. School Filmer says, expanding on the spiritual successor answer I had, maybe something like the Japan-only PS2 game Yoake no Mariko would be cool. That one, I don't know. With 1 or 2 players using microphones to act out scenes from various TV shows, and there may be some singing if it's a musical. Regarding this week's question, meaning the most recent one before now, I did stray off my beaten culinary path while in Trondheim by trying things I normally wouldn't, and ended up liking them all right. The chicken burger with mango mango. I'm thinking mango. What the fuck? The chicken burger with mango chutney was quite nice.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I would have that. No problem.
And then General Ledger has a comment. For playable mother characters, I can think of plenty of adoptive mothers.
Sure.
But there are a few biological mothers that come to mind. The cheap answer is any Marvel game that lets you play as Mrs. Fantastic. Yeah, Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
Mystique, Jessica Jones.
I forgot about Mystique, yeah.
Yeah.
Mystique is like the mother to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Was it Nightcrawler and Rogue, right?
And who?
Rogue.
Oh, Rogue, yeah.
Oh.
And then, this is one I'm embarrassed I missed. In King's Quest VII, you could play as Queen Valenice trying to reunite with her daughter Rosella. That's like her whole plot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time you could ever play as Valenice, in fact. In King's Quest VII, in Lufia, this is one I would not have known. In Lufia 1 and 2, the main party includes Sorceress Celan, who hunts down the Sinestrals, basically the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, after their followers threaten her son and husband. There's Eileen in Suikoden, so I guess I haven't gotten there yet, though she doesn't interact as much with her son as her husband does. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's right. That's why I forgot about her, because you could play as her and Lepant, but Lepant has more to say in the cutscenes. I totally forgot about that, though.
Well, we also didn't mention that, like, there are a ton of mothers you could be in, like, the Fire Emblem games, because you could pick up, like, wives in that game, you know?
Yeah, that's like cheating.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in the game.
Yeah.
Emma in The Last Remnant, I've heard of that, is a war veteran fighting with the party until her daughter takes up her mantle. Eggplant, this changes the subject. New subject. Eggplant is terribly bitter if it isn't brined and dried properly before cooking. It took me a while to learn how to do it right.
Yeah, you have to put a bunch of salt on it.
Yeah. I'm not a black coffee drinker, but I agree with Vice. Dunkin' Donuts coffee tastes weak and overly sweet. I barely taste the coffee flavor. For my own unexpected food experiences, I hated mushrooms, until my wife got me to tolerate them over time. I thought I wouldn't like tikil gomen, or Ethiopian cabbage, as I'm not fond of other cabbage dishes. I gave it a try. It's a pleasantly savory dish.
You gotta try that. I like various cabbage stuff. Like I do like coleslaw and kimchi. I like kimchi quite a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm. And then the question, Living Corpse, what's something you want that for whatever reason seems like it will never be officially localized in your country? Probably one of the bigger things, I'm not even a super passionate fan, but one of the bigger things I've seen, especially on Twitter, because it's been teased a couple times, and one thing was localized once, but then never again, is just like the Kamen Rider, like, there's like over 1,000 episodes. There's like Kamen Rider. I know there's been hints that maybe, because I know recently, like...
Mars Girl posted something about that, I think, recently.
Yeah, exactly, that's what got it in my head. Like, at least one of the English, I think, like, or one of the actors had been tweeting in English little things about that. Like, would you guys be interested? Like, that would be interesting if that happens, because Kamen Rider's been going on for fucking ever. Or even the non-Power Rangers, like, actual original versions of Super Sentai.
Oh, the Super Sentai, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or, like, any of that other stuff. Like, there is that YouTube channel that's brought over, like, some stuff. Like Metal Dare and stuff like that. Like,
sure.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
So, number one on top of that is any of the Macross sequels. Because Harmony Gold has like a stranglehold on like the Macross
the Robotech
property
thing.
Yeah, the Robotech fiasco.
Single-handedly prevented some of the Super Robot Wars games from coming over because he's that much of a shit. It's like, but this isn't even your show. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it basically chopped up and spliced together Macross with two other anime that had nothing to do with it,
and that's VR Troopers, by the way. That's like 3 shows.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of okay with making a new show out of it in general, but
just don't bitch about exactly. we're gonna bring over Metal Dare. Nuh-uh, that's a third of VR Trooper. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, no, it isn't.
Yeah, so the creators, Macross is a huge series in Japan. There are all kinds of different spin-offs and sequel series and all kinds of other stuff, and Macross Plus, I think, is the really good one that will never get localized because the Harmony Gold guy is just so much of a shit. And people have interviewed in English, the creator of Macross, and talked to him about it. He's just like, I don't want to even talk about it. Please import the DVDs.
That sucks.
He's so upset about it that he doesn't even want to talk about it.
It just pisses me off because, again, like, what would be imported is, like, it's a different show from Robotech. Like, it's not Robotech.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with it other than, a portion of it.
like again, that would be like Haim Saban refusing to allow us to get the Super Sentai shows because they're like, nah, that features footage from Power Rangers. It's like, no, Power Rangers features footage from it.
Oh, it's garbage. It's a garbage reason, and it really, really sucks. It's one of those, like if you want to watch Macross, one of the future Macross series, you have to pirate it with English fan subs. I mean, that's really the only way.
It sucks.
There's also the Fist of the North Star manga.
That's a good point.
That's never been
the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we got the whole anime, including Hokuto no Ken 2, which I can't even believe.
But not the manga.
And for some reason, the manga just didn't happen. For some reason.
It's never been in English, to my knowledge, in totality.
Yeah, like, and not even like with the resurgence. Like JoJo kind of died for a different reason, but it's back now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they've made new Fist of the North Star stuff, like the OVAs, like.
And video games, new video games have come over in English.
Yeah, we got the Muso games.
Yeah.
Why not?
We got the Yakuza game. I mean, these are recent games.
I can't believe we got that. I thought that would be too niche. I thought that would be like Ishin, but like, nope. Actually, speaking of that, I think there were like talks of like, I forgot if it was Sega of America or Sega of Japan, like wondering if America might like Ishin. And of course, everybody who plays Yakuza was like, yes. So I would love that too.
They're close to. I think they're close to announcing that actually for the US.
I've heard there was at least consideration. So that would be just great. Like, make it happen. Remaster the PS3 game, or even just localize it. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll buy the PS3 copy of the game, bring over the PS4 version, bring over the PSP version. Make it happen, man.
I actually have a lot of entries in this conversation. Another one that I've been really wishing for is the Far East of Eden series. Not a single one of those games is playable in English. And they're some of the most beloved RPGs of all time in Japan.
And similarly, Sakura Wars, we've gotten two of the games out of like, what, 5 or 6 or something?
Well, we got two officially, and we got one fan translated. But
the question's asking officially, though.
Yeah, I
would also like any number of games that could easily pop up on PSN, like PS1 and PS2 stuff. Like, this is one that's been bothering me. I know you gave me personally an out for this, but like, put it on PSN. Forbidden Siren 2.
Yeah,
that got a Western release, but not as far Western as where we are. That's PAL, and then it stops. And you know what the irony is? American PSN has Siren 1. I don't think PAL does, which is bizarre. And meanwhile, they have Siren 2, not on PSN, but physically, and America is just out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, that's a mess. But yeah, Far East of Eden has, four games in the entire franchise, and none of them have even been fan translated. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of which, these have been fan translated.
You know what? No, there's a Super Nintendo game that Tengai Makio Zero, Far East of Eden Zero, did get fan translated finally, but it's far into the series chronology. I don't want to play it yet. I want to play the early games first.
Yeah, and going back to Reactive Consciousness, most of these games have been fan translated, but like the 20 Goemon games, America got 3 of them.
They're fantastic Konami games in their heyday.
Like America got 1 Super Nintendo game and the 2 N64 games, which are all 3 of those are good.
No, they're all good.
We're missing.
We got the Game Boy one. We did get the Game Boy one as well.
Oh, excuse me, I forgot about that. We got a game. Okay, but there's still like I think literally 20 Goemon games, maybe a little less, but.
That sounds about right.
We're missing lots.
I mean, we luckily have like all the Castlevania games. We have basically. We have all the Contra games. In fact, we have a Contra game that nobody else had. Contra Hardcore.
That sucks. Yeah. Was it the Game Boy Color game or something?
No, Contra Hardcore is the 3rd game for the NES.
Well, no.
Not Hardcore.
Genesis.
I meant Contra. Shit.
Contra Wars?
Nope.
Because wasn't there some like Game Boy or Game
Contra
Boy Color
Force
game that was like terrible, but it's America only and it's
Contra Force.
Now?
Contra Force.
Yeah, like that. The game's apparently not good, but we have it.
Yep, we're the only people that have it. Yeah,
that's bizarre.
Contra Force, yeah. This game's worth a lot of money too, and I have a copy of this.
Yeah, it's worth a ton.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the rarest games for the most like sought after games for the NES. I think it's probably over $200 at this point.
Yeah, it's another one of those games that like it's sought after because it's rare, but like nobody really wants it other than to say they have it.
Yeah, they want to say that they have all the Contra games or whatever.
Yeah, but like no one's gonna play it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like Rule of Rose is like one of the holy grails of the PS2, but like, have you tried playing it?
Yeah, just watch Lotus's Let's Play.
It's a brilliant game, but the gameplay sucks.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, there's also a couple other things that I wanted to mention. So, our past, our cinema past for kung fu films is very broken up. One of the things that you will find is you may be able to find a copy of a really important kung fu film in English, but it'll probably be dubbed or edited to hell.
Even Jackie Chan movies, some of them still aren't available in their original format in the West.
Yeah, actually, I was specifically going to mention.
He's the most famous martial artist ever, like along with Bruce Lee.
I was going to mention him specifically. So recently, I've been wanting to watch Drunken Master, which is his breakout film. And
it's his first one, I think.
Yeah, most versions of it that you can find are dubbed.
I think I saw
and dubbed terribly. And because it's such an early movie.
Just whatever, read your lines, whatever is fine.
Yeah, so I did find a version of it that's been streaming on my cable service for on demand for free that is mostly dubbed, mostly subbed. It occasionally goes into dubbing. It's very odd.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's the best version I've been able to find of it, and thankfully it's accessible to me. But the big ones is like you can find Police Story 1 and 2 in their original forms. In fact, you can get like the Criterion versions of those two movies, but it's the latter Police Story movies that are and all of them are good. They're all a lot of fun. The third one is called Super Cop in the United States, but it's
Meet the Cop. Can't be stopped.
It's Police Story 3, and I believe that is a Miramax localized thing, so there's a Weinstein garbage all wrapped in it because he's going to jail. So there's rights associated with that. So it's localized terribly. There's dubbing, bad dubbing, and it's also edited. And it also has like all of the references to the previous movies like basically edited out of them because it was sold as a standalone movie.
That's like the Road Warrior, where there's like a voiceover at the beginning to try to contextualize the movie because we didn't get Mad Max 1 until later, I think.
Yeah, and Police Story 4 is Jackie Chan's first strike, which it's not his first strike at all. This is the fourth movie in the series, and you've stripped everything out of it that's related to the original movies, and it's edited.
And you know what that's also like? Clock Tower on PS1, because that's America's first Clock Tower game. But like
all references to the previous game. Yeah.
No, it has the references, which makes it weird. It's like, oh, the Scissorman murders, remember those? Like, man, I'm happy I got over that. Like, and now I'm trying to live my life as normally as possible. I'm like, what? And it's like a direct sequel to a game that we never got.
Yeah, I lots of Jackie Chan movies because like they were really popular in the 90s because they started releasing them in theaters like once Rumble in the Bronx happened. I think that was like the big breakout one, and then
I think the best one was The Medallion.
It was not, and I don't think was he even in that one. I think that's a Jet Li movie.
Was it? Oh, excuse me. I'm thinking the Tuxedo. Both things that matter.
Yeah, The Medallion, I think, is Stifler and Jet Li.
Yeah, sorry. And by the way, Jet Li's fucking great. I know it's like a schlock movie, but I love The One.
I love that movie. I love at the end of the movie where he's just like punching everybody. He's just taking everybody on.
He's just beating the shit out of everybody. Yeah. It's great.
No, The Medallion was Jackie Chan. I forgot. Okay, all right.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
The Tuxedo.
Yeah. Was it Jennifer Love Hewitt into it?
I don't fucking know. I haven't seen them.
The Tuxedo. You know, his American ones, except for Rush Hour, are no good.
And Rush Hour 3 is like... Rush
1
Hour
and 2 are good.
Pretty great.
1 and 2 are good.
I saw 2 first, by the way. Speaking of not understanding sequel things, so there were callbacks to the first movie, but they were like... They weren't plot, they were gags. So they were just jokes I didn't get.
Yeah. There are oodles of these movies from Jackie Chan. I mean, like, one of his best is Meals on Wheels, or Wheels on Meals, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a bizarre name. But I've seen the clip where he fights Benny the Jet Urquidez. That shit is nuts. So
good. That's one of his best movies, and I don't think you can find that unedited and undubbed, no matter what you do.
Fucking crazy. Where he does the roundhouse kick and blows out the candles.
Yeah, no, it's really hard. And this day and age, you know, in an age where you can go into Netflix and you can choose like the language track that you want for any given anime, it really sucks that, you know, other foreign films like, you know, kung fu movies like this haven't had the same treatment. Like,
yeah, because like, you know, who's gonna go back and work on like a million films? It's brutal undertaking.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're all distributed by different companies, and some of them are sequels of each other. Just like I was talking about before, you know, for Strike and Police Story and Super Cop are all distributed by different companies, I believe. So it's a big shame.
This is straying from Kung Fu specifically, but if we're talking movies, bring over way more of Takashi Miike shit. Like,
oh yeah, he has like 2 movies a year.
He's just made like 400 movies.
Yeah, he makes like 2 movies a year.
Bring over the Yakuza movie. What's it like a Dragon? Bring over that movie.
Oh, they did.
You can watch the whole thing fan subbed on YouTube right now, but bring it over for real though.
No, they brought that over.
The Phoenix Wright movie too.
They brought over Yakuza on DVD.
They brought it over officially.
I own it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you got me there. Bring over Phoenix Wright then. How about them apples?
Yeah. No. They brought over the on DVD Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yeah. Wow. Officially.
I know they brought over JoJo Part 4, which I don't think is getting a follow up, which is unfortunate because I don't think it did very well. But I didn't really expect it to do very well. It's a live action JoJo. Like, what are you doing?
I can't even imagine what that looks like.
I know. Like the thing with Takashi Miike movies is they're not always very good, but like
they're always interesting. They're always interesting.
Yeah, like the Yakuza movie, it has great moments, but overall, But I'm very happy I watched it. Dead or Alive 2 and 3, okay. Dead or Alive 1's fucking.
I like 3 actually quite a bit.
3 was pretty cool.
2's the one I have to watch a second time.
Dead or Alive 1, by the way, this is not the video game, the fighting video game.
No, nothing to do with it.
It's just a movie that happens to be called Dead or Alive. Watch that movie. I mean, you might have to try working to stomach the opening sequence in the first movie, which is just how disgusting and sleazy Tokyo is, because there's a lot of nasty shit in there.
Yeah.
But like, once you make it through there, this is what this movie's gonna be like. Yo, man, that movie is interesting. I don't. If I try going into any kind of detail about where it goes, it ruins everything. Yeah. But watch that movie.
It's
also
worth it.
The Russian roulette scene is also very good.
I like Dead or Alive quite a bit, and he has Ichi the Killer.
Ichi the Killer and Audition are probably his most famous Western releases.
He also had a Masters of Horror movie that got banned.
What's
like the only Masters of Horror movie to get banned.
That's legitimately impressive.
It involves like abortion as the main theme, so it's really he chose the most problematic topic in America.
Yeah, that's way up there.
But they released it on DVD, but you can't and any of the streaming services don't carry it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
It's like Dead or Alive. Like, good luck finding a streaming service that would carry that.
I have the official DVDs, and even those aren't very good. Like in terms of transfer and all that stuff. The third one has weird ass subtitles, like printed on the like somebody added them to it. It wasn't. They're not added by the program of the DVD. You know, like the DVD machine. They're like printed on top of the the image, so it like
the
blocks
raw film
things.
footage has subs on it.
Yeah, it's like from a really bad transfer or something like that. Wow. It's really odd, but like I'm very happy to own it because I think it's a super rare.
Yeah, where are you gonna find a DVD copy of Dead or Alive?
Yeah, let alone the sequels.
If you can, do it.
Let alone the sequels, but yeah, I mean,
we do like a triple pack, right?
Yeah, it came in with all three. You're likely to find the first one in places, but not the sequels.
The first one is still my personal favorite.
Well, that's one of my personal favorite movies of all time. It's just like that ending, but
yeah, it's some ending.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like we're really into like culty, especially like Asian cinema.
So we watched fucking Funky Forest.
Yeah, apparently there's a sequel to that that's hard to find.
Yeah, I heard there's a sequel that like you can't find anywhere.
Yeah, it's how about the sequel to the spiritual successor to Riki-Oh? You can't find that fucking anywhere.
Spiritual successor?
There's a spiritual successor made by all the same people and the same actors.
Wow. Because I knew that there was animated like follow-ups to Riki-Oh.
No, but, it's basically a sequel without the license. Is essentially
Fist of the North Star.
Basically, yeah. It's called. There was a sequel called Super Powerful Man.
That's amazing.
In Hong Kong in 2005, so it was made a lot later. With the same people.
That's great.
The plot does not follow the events supposedly occur after Ricky breaks out of prison. It is set in the distant future as opposed to 2001 in the film. The film was never released in the United States or Europe, but is available on DVD without English subtitles, so you won't know what the fuck is going on from Panorama Entertainment.
You're gonna have to find like a friend who knows Japanese and have them like.
It's Chinese.
Tell you the subs. Chinese.
You
said Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's Hong Kong. I tried to even just find a DVD of this, even without the subtitles, just so I can see what kind of crazy
ask your
bullshit.
Chinese friend, yeah.
It doesn't even matter. Just like I just want to see it, because Riki-Oh has some weird ass visuals in it.
And by the way, I read the whole manga. Like it gets bizarre.
I can't. I couldn't even find a Hong Kong copy of the DVD, even if I tried. Of Super Powerful Man.
What a name! That's so good.
Yeah, it's in Cantonese, so I won't understand a lick of it. But yeah, it's one of those things. This movie, like if I get my hands on it, oh buddy, I'm sure I'll be disappointed, but I can't wait.
Yeah. Say that you've seen it.
I just want it,
I watched Super Powerful Man.
The funny thing is, I can't even brag about that to anybody because nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. You couldn't have bragged about it to me
until like a minute ago. I never heard of this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll have to track that down one of these days, Lotus. We'll have to find it. Maybe it's even on YouTube, squared away somewhere, because that happens sometimes. Also, before we leave, one popped into my head. Sweet Home, the inspiration for the
that's true.
The NES game by Capcom. So. The film that started it all is
not to mention the video game
likely
itself. Like bring that over too. Like I mean, you can buy repros of it with fan subs, but localize it. Why not?
Yep. All right. Well,
find all those frescoes
and vacuum up all that stuff.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap things up here. What do you think?
Why, sure.
We want to thank all of our fans who contributed questions and comments. Guys, you are knocking it out of the park. You're doing great. Please.
Super duper last thing for Realsy Reels. I think we're getting some, but all the Witcher books.
They are coming. I know some of them are already out here.
Yeah, no, I knew some of them were out here, but just bring them all. Make it happen.
I mean, they brought over all of Valerian for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well do that too. Please keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your own via the YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs up, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. Also, you know what? I want to hear about what you have to say about this last question, because there's all kinds of stuff. From other countries.
Not to mention, we have listeners from like various locations in the world. So,
in Europe.
What does it mean? Yeah, like what might you want that America might even have, or like some other country has that could be localized in, like in School Framer's case, like Norwegian, for example.
Or like, there's all kinds of stuff from like Europe that I don't even know that existed. That first person shooter 13. The comic that goes with that.
XIII.
Yeah, the comic that goes with that. I don't think has ever been localized. Like I would like to read that.
And speaking of comics, like I know we've gotten a taste
that's a French
of it, but like
comic.
Asterix and Obelisk is like huge in Europe.
You can get a hold of that though. You can. That's in English.
How about what Dracologist keeps bringing up? God damn it, I forgot their names, but the guys in the Slaps and Beans.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Like they have like 1 million movies, and they haven't been. I don't think they've been localized.
A lot of them have, but it's just the same thing with kung fu movies. They've all been like dubbed and like especially like a lot of them are all chopped up. So it goes from like action scene to action scene because they knew that's what you wanted to see. You didn't care about the story or whatever. But at the same time, let me make that decision.
Bud and Spencer, got it.
Yeah, but have me make that decision. Like
exactly. If I want to fast forward through it, then I'll do that.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. The Weinsteins were especially bad when localizing stuff like that. So much so that Miyazaki sent him a
katana.
A katana that said no cuts on it, because he was famous for chopping up Nausicaa.
Yeah, you're gonna butcher a fucking Studio Ghibli movie? Like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So he did that to all kinds of kung fu movies. Like there's like 15 minutes missing from each of them. I mean, it sucks. But yeah, you can spread awareness. Help us promote the show by spreading. What am I even saying anymore? I'm done.
Just give us 5-star ratings is the point.
Yeah. You can catch us on Tuesdays for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can find me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, which we got a new one coming in the relative near future, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
All right. Well, we will catch everybody later on Tuesday for another episode of Reactive. We'll catch you then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.